Hey, Howard here at 82 Maple again, and wouldn't you know it, we're on the move. So Coral and I occupied this little plot of ground starting, I don't know, 3.5 years ago. We had owned it for a little bit before then, and this was like, oh yeah, this is forever. We're here forever. This is our lifetime from now till whenever, home. But we had an opportunity, and the opportunity is 4.5 or 5 hours away from here in BC's interior. An opportunity to upgrade from 6 and a little bit of acres to a full 20-acre plot. Wow, are we going to have fun? No, not talking about when we get there. That'll be the subject for some other videos. We have visions of Dexter cattle and 200 chickens and all sorts of stuff on that 20 acres, growing our own hay. But no, the fun is in the move. You've seen what it looks like around here. Well, we've got a 60-day project. And so no, we'll find our new home for the logs, but that equipment's got to go. We've got a little sawmill and some other odds and ends over here that are going to have to be moved. Good thing I got the wheel package for the sawmill, because I can put a single axle under there, a trailer hitch on the other end, and we'll roll it onto a little flat deck trailer that we'll talk about in a bit. That's what Norwood is built for. The little Wood Miser Edger has some great little ears here, one on each corner. Drop a chain or a hook in there, and that just picks up. We'll have to just take the tables off, and we're going to just take a look here at the beast that is going to be pulling most of this. Well, we've got a couple of beasts actually. This is a 2013 F350 dually, as stock as they come. The other vehicle that's going to tow a trailer, namely that trailer right in there, that's a 12,000 pound trailer. We won't load it with more than 6. It's going to be a 2021 Aviator with a 6,700 pound tow capacity. Will pull that. This one has a gross combination vehicle weight capacity of 30,000 pounds, 14,000 on this vehicle and 16,000 on whatever it's pulling. But let's take a look at a couple of things that we're doing to prepare for the trip. So I don't know if you've watched the Highway Through Hell video series. I think it's about 7 seasons deep right now. It's the story of tow trucks up on the Coquihalla Highway and the related connector. And that's where we're going to be pulling over. So we threw a dash cam in, just had that installed and wired in. Front, back with the camper on, isn't going to do anything, but it will have a rear view. And so we're just going to track things so that if something weird and wonderful happens, hey, you'll see the video of it. What can I say? But this vehicle is super well equipped. We've got 10 ply tires, had these for a bit, went to a 10 bolt lug setup instead of the stock 8. The wheels push the tires outboard on the vehicle a little bit, particularly on the rear where it counts. This tire is probably a good 5 inches outboard from where the stock was, but that was only part of it. We put airbags under this and it didn't work so well. So this camper that's on here, that's above me right now, is dry about 4,000 pounds, and the airbags didn't really change the sway because the airbags are inboard from the springs. So we added 2, maybe 3 more leafs. 2 for sure, maybe a 3rd overload leaf. I don't exactly recall, it was a few years back. There's also a torsion bar under there, which of course is all about controlling sway. Stock is 3/4 of an inch or 5/8. We boosted it to a 1 1/4. So when you talk about the circumference and the actual ability of this torsion bar, it's at least 3 times that of the stock. Little stiffer ride, but man, does it handle a load. It just corners flat on any kind of winding road, and we've been on all sorts of paths and trails given it's a 4-wheel drive. Incidentally, if you're looking at the pattern on that wheel, you'll see it's horseshoes. Apparently some player with the Indianapolis Colts commissioned American Eagle, the manufacturer, to make those, and then they went ahead and retailed them, and Coral, of course, loves her horses, so had to have the wheels. She's the boss, what can I say? Then we've got an interesting looking little hitch on here. So it extends out from the stock position on the Ford, an extra 48 inches. But you'd never get away with that with just a single extension. No way it'll carry the weight. So that's called a truss extender, and I'll give you a close-up of that in a couple of minutes. Then we put this type of an assembly on it so that it'll support torsion bars, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. Back to the truss extender. I pulled the first truss extender I had out of the shop here. I mistakenly got a 42 inch and I just didn't have enough extension, or the extension that I wanted. I had to fiddle with the camper every time I wanted to remove the hitch ball. And so this is what they call a super truss. So this goes in to where the typical hitch would be on a vehicle, but there's a specialized hitch that we got bolted to the underside of that F350, and so it's a dual mount, and then just like the name says, it's built like a truss. Tried, true, and it does its work. And take a close-up here of the capacity. We're going to be upside down, so I'm just going to swing this around so Coral can get the numbers on it for you. But basically, this is good for 600 pounds on the tongue, 6,000 total weight without torsion bars. If we use the weight distributing torsion bars, we can go up to 1,200 pounds on the tongue and 12,000 pounds in terms of total pull. If you're wondering what these chains are doing here, so just imagine now that my little container here is a vehicle. So these chains go to the frame rails and keep any sway or movement back there laterally. So it's a really clever design, not cheap. I think it was a couple $1,000 all in, but we have towed so much using this. We have our little, we just call it the turtle. We live with our house on our back here, and at one point we towed a 30-foot cargo trailer and took it over the scales, and it was 28,500, so just 1,500 under the gross combination vehicle weight capabilities. Watch those tire pressures and a couple of other things. So we'll take a break right here and we'll patch in when we get down to the trailer. So here we are at the trailer, and this little gem is rated for 14,000 pounds. It's sweet. It's a tilt deck. Love it. And got to take care of it though. So what does that look like? Well, of course, for the electrical connections, a little bit of electrical contact cleaner. I'm going to check tire pressures, make sure they're exactly where they need to be for carrying this sort of a load. What's all this about? Going to torque those wheels. This trailer isn't that old. It doesn't have that many kilometers on it. And these wheels need to be torqued. The wheel nuts need to be torqued to 100 pounds. No better way to do it than with a bona fide torque wrench. No guesswork when we're consistently towing and needing something to be super reliable. Hey, we were just, and of course, you know, there's a couple of other fundamentals like the strapping, and that's a whole topic for another day. But we were just talking about the load leveler hitch. And so I love this trailer, like I just said. The one from AA, I'd buy it all over again. But as with anything, it evolves, and I'm sure the trailer will evolve. Here was a little suggestion to just take this trailer to the next game. I would have loved to have seen this box. In here is where we house the battery for the tilt, the hydraulic tank. Off of this battery, I run my winch, and It's not exactly a dry box. It came with a couple of holes in the bottom, but it's not bad. It keeps all the dirt out for sure. Store a little extra hydraulic oil in here, and a great setup. But I came to setting up for these torsion bars to go with the hitch, so they will attach to those ears you've seen on the hitch. They slide up in, and these are to go over this little assembly, which we start down here and get the right link. I have yet to set this one up. These ears are brand new, and you cinch it up, and there you have it. To the extent that properly set up and under the right conditions, this will actually pick a little bit of weight off the back end of the truck, and a great setup. But I went to mount the chain area where we do the cinching, and the box was in the way. So with a combination of a hacksaw, a cutting torch, I tore the bracket out of here, remounted the lid catch to keep the lid up, carved some holes in, took the battery out, secured both of these, and again, no longer completely watertight. Front to back, it was maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of troubleshooting and action, but it would have been so much better if this box had just been mounted back. Here's the deal. So when we were back at the truck, we were talking about how without the torsion bars, it's good. The hitch on the back of the truck and the stock one, forget about the torsion bar for a minute, the stock one is really no different. You're good for maybe 600 to 800 pounds on the hitch, maybe as high as 1,000 if the hitch is just right, and you're good for 8,000 or 10,000 pounds of pulling capacity. Well, I've got a 14,000 pound trailer here, and so these bars help me take the game up. And it's critical that they were on for this trip. Is this pile of stuff, hey, it looks like the Beverly Hillbillies or something moving in, but no, there's no way I would have needed the torsion bars for that. But I'm bringing back a John Deere 5103 from the Okanagan property and bringing it back here to help me load some equipment. It has a lift capacity of, I think, 2,400 pounds. Bone dry, it's 4,700 pounds in the spec. It's going to be wet, it's going to have fuel and oil. So 5,100 pounds, you add that to a 3,000 pound trailer, and at very best, I would be illegal on the highway, if not outright dangerous. So these were a must. So had to carve out some holes and put that in. One more critical thing, and this is a don't leave home without it. This is a tongue, hitch tongue scale. And I've had this for years, ever since we were towing the big cargo trailer. So what we do with it is we just pop it under here. Coral's gonna watch the dial, and this lets us know if we're behaving ourselves. I've learned that you just can't guess what the tongue weight is on a trailer. So I center that right where the receiver ball would go, and let's watch that dial go up. Not on it yet, not on it yet. There we go, we're rolling. Hey, I don't know where this is gonna land. I may be redoing this entire trailer load for the correct weight. Well, there we landed. Okay, my hitch is up. We're free down here, and we're sitting right on the nose, 1,200 pounds. I do have one more item that has some heft and weight that I was going to put on the back if necessary. That's no longer an option. It's going on the back. 1,200, we're still good. I know these trailers and the hitch assemblies are built for probably a 50% shock load capacity or more, but that number, before we hit the road, we're gonna dial it back down to about 1,000. So there you have it. Hey, if you have some tips, tricks, or ideas, or see something that I've missed, let me know. The next shots you're gonna see will likely be from the dash cams as we're heading up over some beautiful scenery. See you up there, 82 Maple. We're gonna keep all of these.